The Punic Wars, a series of 3 conflicts fought between Rome and Carthage from 264 to 146 BC, were a defining period in the ancient Mediterranean world, ultimately determining which power would dominate the region for centuries to come. Carthage, a Phoenician city-state founded around 814 BC, had established a vast maritime empire centered on North Africa, controlling trade routes and colonies across the western Mediterranean, including significant holdings in Sicily, Sardinia, and Spain. Rome, initially a small city-state in Italy, had been steadily expanding its influence through military conquest and strategic alliances, becoming the dominant power on the Italian peninsula by the 3rd century BC. The First Punic War, 264-241 BC, began over control of Sicily, a strategically important island coveted by both powers for its agricultural resources and its position as a vital naval base. The conflict initially favored Carthage, whose powerful navy controlled the seas, but Rome, lacking a significant naval tradition, quickly adapted by constructing its own fleet, initially by copying captured Carthaginian designs. The Romans also developed a corvus, a boarding bridge equipped with a spike that allowed them to turn naval battles into land engagements, neutralizing the Carthaginian naval advantage. Key naval battles, such as the Battle of Mylae, 263 BC, and then the Battle of Agnamas, 256 BC, demonstrated Roman tenacity and growing naval prowess, resulting in several Roman victories despite initial setbacks. The war dragged on for over 2 decades, with battles fought across Sicily, North Africa, and even Spain, resulting in heavy casualties and significant economic strain for both sides. Ultimately, Rome emerged victorious, defeating the Carthaginian fleet at the Battle of the Aegae's Islands, 241 BC, forcing Carthage to cede Sicily and pay a large indemnity. The First Punic War transformed Rome into a major naval power and marked the beginning of its expansion beyond the Italian peninsula. The interwar period, 241-218 BC, saw Carthage, under the leadership of the Barcid family, particularly Hamilcar Barca, rebuild its economy and military strength in Spain. Hamilcar established a powerful Carthaginian presence in Spain, exploiting its rich mineral resources and recruiting a new army of Iberian mercenaries. His son, Hannibal Barca, inherited his father's ambition and a desire for revenge against Rome, believing that Carthage needed to challenge Rome's dominance directly. The Second Punic War, 218-201 BC, began when Hannibal launched a daring invasion of Italy, crossing the Alps with a large army, including War Elephants. This bold move surprised Rome and allowed Hannibal to inflict a series of devastating defeats on Roman armies at battles like Trebia, 218 BC, Lake Trasimene, 217 BC, and Cannae, 216 BC. The Battle of Cannae, 216 BC, was a particularly disastrous defeat for Rome, with tens of thousands of Roman soldiers killed in a brilliant tactical encirclement by Hannibal. Despite these defeats, Rome refused to surrender, adopting a Fabian strategy of avoiding direct confrontation with Hannibal, harassing his supply lines, and focusing on protecting its cities. Rome also launched expeditions to Spain, led by the Scipio family, to disrupt Carthaginian supply routes and weaken their control of the Iberian Peninsula. Publius Cornelius Scipio, later known as Scipio Africanus, emerged as a brilliant Roman general, defeating Carthaginian forces in Spain and eventually invading North Africa. The turning point of the war came with the Battle of Zama, 202 BC, where Scipio Africanus decisively defeated Hannibal's army, ending Carthaginian hopes of victory in Africa. The Second Punic War resulted in a Carthaginian defeat, forcing them to cede their territories in Spain, relinquish their fleet, and pay a massive indemnity to Rome. Carthage was reduced to a shadow of its former power, forbidden from waging war without Roman permission, and forced to rely on Roman trade. Despite the defeat, Carthage began to rebuild its economy, benefiting from trade and establishing a new mercantile empire in North Africa. However, Roman suspicions remained, fueled by Carthage's economic success and a growing fear of renewed Carthaginian power. Cato the Elder, a Roman senator, famously ended every speech with the phrase, "Carthago delenda est," Carthage must be destroyed, advocating for the complete annihilation of the city. These tensions eventually led to the Third Punic War, 149–146 BC, a conflict initiated by Rome on a flimsy pretext. Rome demanded that Carthage relocate its capital, which the Carthaginians refused, leading to a Roman declaration of war. Rome besieged Carthage for 3 years, eventually breaching the city walls and engaging in a brutal urban warfare. After a fierce resistance, Carthage fell in 146 BC, and the city was systematically destroyed, its population either killed or enslaved. The Punic Wars had a profound impact on the ancient Mediterranean world, establishing Rome as the dominant power and paving the way for the Roman Empire. The wars resulted in the expansion of Roman territory, the development of a powerful Roman navy, and the transformation of Roman society and politics. The defeat of Carthage also removed a major rival for control of the Mediterranean trade routes, allowing Rome to consolidate its economic power and influence. The Punic Wars served as a crucible for Roman military tactics, organization, and leadership, shaping the future of Roman warfare. Hannibal, despite his ultimate defeat, remains one of the greatest military commanders in history, renowned for his tactical brilliance and daring strategies. Scipio Africanus, his Roman counterpart, also stands as a pivotal figure, celebrated for his strategic vision and his victory over Hannibal at Zama. The destruction of Carthage marked the end of a major civilization and the beginning of a new era in the Mediterranean world, an era dominated by Rome.